Hey there friends, hope you're all doing well. Today's video, along with the push that I've been trying to do recently, this hashtag gamers for BLM, is going to be a specific look at racism, but from a gaming perspective. And I'll explain what I mean here in just a second. Before I get into that, I want to kind of give a story to kind of set up some context for what I'm about to talk about. When I started out gaming, I pretty much just did it with friends and family. I wasn't really taking time to be competitive. I didn't really have the opportunity to be competitive. And so a lot of what I did was just kind of gaming with my family when we had the Wii to play on, or the GameCube when I had time on my own. My family was kind of against technology growing up. We were kind of conservative. And so, I'd get like 1 to 2 hours a week. And with that kind of amount of time, it's not really easy to get good at a game, become competitive or anything like that. So for most of my childhood, I was kind of on the sidelines with that. Gaming was something I enjoyed, was something I was interested in, but I couldn't really devote the time to it that I wanted to become good at any game or get competitive. Another good point to make is I wasn't really connected online either. My family didn't have internet out at the house that we were at. And when we did, it was really, really bad. And so I wasn't really able to, play video games at all connected online. And this kind of even continued into my first couple of years of college because I was staying with my aunt and uncle for a little while. And because of that, I didn't really have connections to their internet suppliers or anything like that. I had the Wi-Fi, but not really anything else. I couldn't connect to Ethernet or anything like that. And so I had this Xbox 360, but all I could really play was Skyrim. And that's pretty much it. All of that changed like my second year into college. I had this roommate that was a video editor, a photo editor, and he was really into that kind of stuff. And he wanted to upgrade his computer to, be able to edit and produce video content a lot faster, a lot better. So he went to a computer store, bought a bunch of parts, put his computer together, and I kind of followed suit. And for the first time, I had a computer that could run modern video games pretty well, and could also be connected online because my roommate was also, interested in gaming and had set up kind of the gaming area to have Ethernet connections. So for the first time around 18 or 19, I was connected online, playing video games with friends, and competing in games like Fortnite and Overwatch and stuff like that. Now, I did compete in other things before. I did play sports. I was into basketball, football, soccer, stuff like that. And there was a time to where my identity and a lot of who I was wrapped up in sports. I lived out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't really have any teams to compete against. And so a lot of my experience with sports was not as competitive as I would have liked it to be. And so for the first time online, playing video games, playing Fortnite, competing with other people on a daily basis. And through this, I started to experience some interesting kind of changes in the way that I thought and the way that I treated other people. As I started getting better at the game, I started to interact with the people that were good at the game and how they treated other people. And I don't think this was just all learned behavior, but as I started doing that more often, I started to pick up this kind of a mental kind of warfare that people would do. There's like really, really good players, and they're like the best of the best. And then you have kind of your average players, and then maybe like worse players that don't get the opportunity to play that much, and so you're not that super good. I was kind of in the average area, and I always was there. I was never really, really good at the game. What I noticed in this average category that I was in is that I could influence other players to play worse than me if I made them feel bad about their own skills, or if I tried to make them feel bad about the way that they were playing during the day. And it's sad that I did this because this is completely against who I am as a person, but I would demean other people and I would push them to feel bad about what they were doing and how they were playing so that I could get the upper hand in the battles that I was in. So basically, I wasn't really good at the game, but as long as I could prove to other people that I was better than them, and while doing that, use mental techniques to make them feel worse about their playing so that I'd end up winning a couple battles, that kind of mental idea and technique just got massively ingrained into who I was as a person. And it also impacted how I thought about who I was and my kind of identity as a person. I started to base how I felt about myself on how I played in a video game. And because of that, all of these other mental techniques became essential for me to prove my own self-worth, not only to myself, but to other people. And some of you guys may be asking, okay, what does this mean and how does this relate to racism? Well, I think that a lot of discrimination comes down to this at its core. There's a lot of people out there that want to find validation and want to feel worth something, and they want to find their self-worth in something. And somehow over time, it's become negatively based on being better than other people. The competition or this competitive nature isn't just something that exists in sports. It becomes something that people feel on a daily basis. And so in gaming, it's simple, you know, if I'm better than this person if I play this game better than they do. But in life, it's a little bit different, and it can be based off of a ton of different things. You have certain people saying, well, at least I'm in a better income bracket than these people are. At least I have a better family. At least my family name means something more. At least I'm not in jail. At least I have a dad. At least I have a support system. Whatever it could be. And as I start saying some of those things, that may get a little bit more personal. And I want to make sure that I'm not infringing on anything that's going to make you feel uncomfortable or anything like that. But you have people that want to feel validation, that want to feel self-worth, but base that self-worth off of being better than other people, instead of basing it off of who they are just as an individual, as a human in society. And that mindset spreads to everything that they do, and part of their life becomes proving to other people that they're better than whatever group of people that they think that they're better than. And so racism and discrimination is kind of innate to a lot of people. It's central to proving themselves to the world. And gaming gives us a really good perspective of that. And hopefully the way that I've laid it out makes sense. Hopefully the way that I've explained it shows you a little bit of kind of how this is much bigger than just gaming, that trash talk, that toxicity is in itself a form of discrimination or can become discrimination. And that a lot of people in the world that may not be competitive gamers or into sports or something like that have that same mindset when it comes to just society, to proving themselves socially, or to anything in everyday life. That's the way that I think discrimination is best shown in the gaming community. So what's the takeaway? What can we do about this now that we know that this is an issue? Well, I think that there's a couple of takeaways that I wrote down in a list. These may not be the best ones out there, but hopefully this wraps up what I'm talking about, at least succinctly, and helps kind of put it into a, you know, nicely little packaged container. Number one, that there's something innate to being human that makes us want to feel good about ourselves, and that can often negatively come at the expense of others. This can become trash talk and toxicity, but also discrimination and racism, with both being problematic for everyone. Number two, this doesn't just go away if we don't participate. It requires proactive work to help combat this kind of negative action. This is because there's always going to be people out there that negatively base their value on being better than other people. And if we're not fighting that directly, then those people are going to teach those bad habits to their peers. It's going to become peer pressured into other people, as it was to me. And they're going to teach their family members and the kids in their family, their cousins, their kids when they grow up, to have that same kind of mindset. Number three, all of us can do something about this. I've chosen to play video games and make videos trying to offer a positive environment and a place for people to come and be challenged. But that's not the only way. I've even been telling this to my sisters and my dad and everything like that, that we can all do something, even if we don't have a place of power, a place of authority. We can be anti-racist, anti-discriminatory in our everyday lives, and it's something that all of us can do. We can distance ourselves from negative groups and groups that are discriminatory, or use racist jokes, or make jokes that leave minorities or anything like that as the butt end of the joke. We can be an open ear for people that are going through discrimination, minorities out there that just need people to talk to, and for people that just want to talk about their experiences or need somebody to kind of be a listening ear to kind of validate what they're going through. And then we can stand up every day when we see that kind of stuff. We can speak out about what we're seeing and how it's wrong, and we can choose to educate ourselves on what's going on so that in the future we can have the right responses for people that say, well, I don't really think this is a big issue, or I've never seen this, or I've never seen this in my personal life, or whatever the case may be. And then number four, issues like this include everyone that's a part of a minority. And it doesn't just stop at Black communities or Asian communities or the queer community. As long as there are things to point out to a person and say, well, at least I'm better than that, there will be discrimination. And to be anti-racist is to also be open to hearing the experiences of other minorities and groups, such as the queer community and so on. There's a lot of minorities out there that are going through a lot of stuff, and it's important that if we're going to be anti-racist, that we realize that that's something that extends to everything. That if we're going to support one minority movement and listen to the voices of people that are being discriminated against, that the system's not built for, that we also listen to the voices of other minorities that are experiencing the exact same thing. That's pretty much all I've got written down. Hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully my story and this idea that I brought up is something that makes sense to you guys as well. Feel free to leave some comments or some critiques down in the comments below. Feel free to drop by my Twitch streams to kind of have a conversation about this. If you do go to my Twitch, type in !educate or !Black Lives Matter or !Gamers for BLM. I've got a bunch of different links there, different resources, ways to donate, ways to understand more stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I need to learn, and those resources have been great for me as well. So hopefully they're able to benefit you during all this. But with that being said, that's pretty much it. You guys can catch me in my weekly live streams on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. But besides that, I will see you guys in the next video.